it's all about standards. So if you're going to take one thing away from today, I just want to take away this. Realize what your standards are in each area, and then realize if they're aligned with the purpose that you have or the goals that you have for your life, and then make sure you raise them so they reflect those goals and continue to raise them. Focus on questions, not answers. Answers are really easy to come by if you ask the right questions. So in all the speeches I ever do, I always include this because I think it's one of the most important things in my life, which is asking and answering questions, right? So the process of thinking is the process of asking and answering questions. That's the process of thinking. Usually I will stand here and I will say, what is it to think? And everybody will come up and say a bunch of different things. And I will say, well, what we're doing right now is thinking. I'm asking you a question. You're trying to come up with an answer. And that may happen verbally and sort of extroverted, right? So we may say it, or it may happen in our head. But there is an American, or I guess English saying that says, ask and you shall receive. Exactly. Ask and you shall receive. And why is that? Because question works like blinkers. They focus your attention. They focus in the direction that you look. And so if you're asking a question saying, why is this guy so annoying? You're going to get an answer to that question. If you say, what the fuck can I learn from this guy? You're going to get a different answer. I see sometimes, people in our companies, they look at competition and say all the things they're doing wrong. They're not asking the question, what can I learn from this person? What can I take away? What can I apply tomorrow? So the answer you're going to get is an answer that reflects your question more than your ability to find the answer. And we ask horrible questions all the time. I at least do. Maybe you guys are better. I ask horrible questions all the time. So what I try to be aware of is the quality of the questions that I ask. And so our dear Tony Robbins says the quality of our lives is determined by the quality of the questions that we ask, because it works like blinkers and it puts a direction on our view.
Doing what you do is your choice. You don't want to do it tomorrow, you're going to do something else, and everybody else will be so fucking happy to have you. We're so lucky to be able to work with you, but so would everybody else be, right? So if you one day don't want to do it, and I think that's the easiest way for me to handle stress, is to know that I can walk away. That's why when we look at the stress factors, some people are more prone to stress, some people are less. But mindset is so important. And having the knowledge that if you walked away and you did another thing tomorrow, your life would be completely fine. Just means you can relax in being there.
Because the stress comes from setting such high expectations. That's where the stress comes from.
Yeah, but look, I think you have to have high expectations. Yeah. It's a bit like if you're going to do sales. We used to do sales coaching, and every morning we would wake up and we start the day by saying, what is your goal? What is your goal? What is your goal? And the guy said, I can do 5 sales. In reality, the guy could do 10. We said, look, set the expectation at 12. But then you have to be fine when you don't have 12. There's a good old saying that says, what's worse than having high expectations and not reaching them is having low expectations and reaching them.
Standards is what you have within you when, if you do not live up to those standards, you feel really sick. Your stomach hurts, you feel weird. It feels like you're not on the right path. It feels like you're not doing what you're supposed to do. So we all have standards in all areas of your life. How many people know somebody who is probably really physical fit, but sort of career-wise not very sort of ambitious? How many know a person like that? A lot of people do, right? And what does that mean? Does that mean they have low standards? No, it just means they have low career standards. It doesn't mean they have low standards for life necessarily. It doesn't mean they have low standards for their health. How many people have seen somebody maybe who is even really, really hardworking and really high ambitions for their career, but in really low and bad physical health, right? So we know those people as well. They're all looking at me, that may be why I know. So we all know those people as well. We also know people, so we have different areas of our lives, and within each of those areas, we gotta have different standards. So the people with the highest standards win the war in whatever the war is. Not the battle, but the war. So if you look at somebody like Tony Robbins, one of the world's biggest coaches, he would say, you got to raise your standards. It's all about raising your standards. It's the standards for discipline. It's the standards for how much risk you're willing to take. It's the standards for your life. It's the standards for whatever it is. So it's all about standards. So if you're going to take one thing away from today, I just want to take away this. Realize what your standards are in each area, and then realize if they're aligned with the purpose that you have or the goals that you have for your life, and then make sure you raise them so they reflect those goals and continue to raise them. By the way, your standards are impacted by the people you hang out with. If you hang out with people who are in good physical health, you tend to get in better physical health. If you hang out with people who are great at school, you tend to get better at school. You don't necessarily get as good, but you tend to be reflective. So be very wary of the commonality of the people that you hang out with for that particular purpose. And it's fine to have different role models for different areas. You don't need to have the same role model for every single area that you have in your life. So you can have a role model and a standard for a certain aspect, and to say, this guy over here, he has no job, but I want to be like him from a health standard.